Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 744. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book but you need some help getting it done, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., like that stuff we write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they can turn someone who barely kinda maybe sorta sees themselves as a writer into a published book author. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. "There is no advertisement as powerful as a positive reputation traveling fast." Brian Koslow. And speaking of that, and once again, good morning and happy Thursday, everyone. Today's episode of the show is especially aimed at my fellow business owners and entrepreneurs out there who are thinking about writing a book. Because, when your money, career, reputation, or all three are on the line, you'd better make sure your audience understands where you're going and why it's important that they come with you. For many, writing a book would seem like a thing to do after you get there, quote unquote, there being launching a product, building a business, solving a problem, or spreading an idea. Well, today here is my argument in favor of writing your book first, instead. An entrepreneur's ability to effectively communicate an idea or pitch a product can be the difference between a yes and a pass. A yes from your audience, whether investors or a venture capitalists, angel investors, people like that, a yes from your audience can come down to three things: a personal connection, a compelling why story, and a clear communication of the details. Now, again, the audience might refer to investors, but it might also refer to your customers, your speaking audience, or anybody else that could possibly help support and grow your product or your idea on an even larger stage, like changing the world with your ideas. Let's take a closer look at the three things that can persuade people to your way of thinking. Number one, a personal connection. Telling your story attaches a complete three-dimensional, real-life, living and breathing person to an idea or a product, and in doing so creates a personal connection. For example, how many stories have we seen from the startup world, including the TV show Shark Tank? Many of you probably have seen that, where investors invest in the people behind the products as much as, or even more than, the products themselves. At the beginning of an idea, even a potentially great one, even the savviest investor likely has trouble predicting the idea's trajectory as a product. Will it go boom or bust? Outside of market data and other concrete predictors, sometimes an investor will want to look at the entrepreneur and ask, what character traits, beliefs, core values, and life stories does this person possess that would increase the odds of their idea becoming a success? This also applies to booking a high-profile speaking engagement that has the capacity to influence many people, or at the one-on-one level, a foundation from which to sell the products and services in your small business. All of these entrepreneurial examples have one big thing in common. The goal is to persuade someone else to give you something significant, and let's be honest, it's usually money, something that you need in order to move forward. A book is by far the most thorough, credible, and shareable way to introduce yourself personally in a deliberately thought out, perfectly structured way. A book gives you a platform to pitch on your own terms. It allows you to tell your story your way. And the second one, a compelling why story. And we know on the show how much I love the word why. Here's another reason why. The why behind a big idea, vision for change, or new product can 10x enthusiasm from your audience, because having a personal reason behind our wants and actions is a uniquely human trait. When you connect your audience with your why in a compelling emotional way, people are almost always more likely to get on board with what you are pitching them, whether a product, service, invention, speaking proposal, event, or life-changing idea. Even if they personally cannot relate to your why, the fact that you have one will set off a spark of human familiarity for them. The book writing process itself gives you the opportunity to get clear on the why behind your idea, as well as the who, what, where, and when, and develop it into a persuasive, well-written story. Writing a book, even a small one, allows you to zoom out, see the big picture of what it is you're trying to persuade people to do, and structure a story that anchors your ask. And finally, number 3, a clear communication of the details. Finally come the nuts and bolts of your actual idea. A book first helps you understand all the inner workings of your content, and then passes on that depth of understanding to your readers, to your audience. This clarity shines a laser beam of specificity at your intended audience, versus telling everyone about what you're selling and hoping like heck someone or anyone raises their hand to buy it. Because contrary to the popular belief of many entrepreneurs, the art of pitching an idea is not a contest to see who can spill forth the most details in the shortest period of time. Have you heard those elevator pitches, especially at networking events? The let me tell you everything I do in 30 seconds flat restaurant menu. I call it a drive-through menu because my eyes kind of roll back because they just told me every single thing they do and I still don't really know what they do. Persuasion requires a more skillful, organized, and well-written presentation. Even nuts and bolts require a sleek and shiny delivery vehicle. So in conclusion, write a book that blends interpersonal connection, your why story, and an organized delivery of the details. Do that, and you've just created a rock-solid foundation for all your other pitching efforts, the verbal and other shorter forms of copywriting like pitching. Now you're working from a complete, well-developed story rather than a talking point or bullet points or pitch points. Finally, it's worth noting that the type of book I'm describing today does not have to be a War and Peace-sized complication, to create. In fact, the better you understand your idea, your product, your service, your idea, the better you understand it, the better you understand what you're pitching, the better positioned you will be to write a succinct, tightly structured, powerful book that gets your point across. So there's kind of my argument today in terms of why entrepreneurs and potential business owners, why you should write a book at the beginning of your venture rather than what many do, which is, a few years in, it occurs to them to write a book about, their product and who they are and their why story and why they're bringing this product or idea or service into the book. How about do it ahead of time? Give yourself clarity and introduce yourself through a book. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And please drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook and let us know how we can support your writing goals. I always put the link in the show notes. Until tomorrow, happy writing.